So the most important piece is that you have agent-specific governance. And for 9 times out of 10, that's going to be context-specific governance. So we have a product called Beam, just to give you an example of what this looks like. And what it does is it enables you to avoid the risk whilst keeping operational resilience. So you don't have downtimes, you don't have block lists. You're not having to constantly go back and check, because every time you go back and check for a different governance policy at a different turn of an agent's task list,
it's like on control, right?
Latency. Yeah, there's a huge piece of latency. And so you're at 2 plus 5 plus 10, it's a lot, especially if you're at multi-turn requests. And so then when you go to contextual governance, essentially what you want to do is inject context into the context window, into the operating window of the agent, so that the agent knows about the risk in an agent-readable way and can avoid the risk before anything bad happens. So a good example of this is vulnerable tools. So if there are vulnerable tools across either internal infrastructure or remote hosted infrastructure, you want the agent to know that that tool is vulnerable so it doesn't use it. And you don't want to necessarily do that through a block list, because that request has to go back and check against a tool list. It has to go back again, check against a governance policy. And so each time you're adding latency to that request. But instead, with contextual governance, you can immediately, in the reasoning cycle, identify that as a hazard, and the agent can choose a different tool without adding latency.
Interesting.